Hey, what's up, everybody? I just want to walk you through enhancing animal action photos. I got a photo that I took out here in Costa Rica a couple months back of a dolphin jumping out of the water and diving back in. Because it's a movement shot and I want it to be really sharp and crisp, I shot it with a shutter speed of 1/1600th of a second and an aperture of 5. But you can see here the original photo, nothing is really as bright as it could be, but then again, nothing is as dark as it could be, so the contrasts aren't really quite there. The overall tone is quite muddy and a bit darker than I'd like. So I want to walk you through how you could fix up the brightness on that. So the first thing you want to do is run over to your Adjustments tab, run down to Curves, and we're going to get a histogram here. You have to move this to get it to calculate the histogram. Give it a second, hopefully it turns up. There we go. So I'm going to gate in the total color ranges that there are, so that the lightest color gets forced out to being as bright as possible, and the lowest color not quite so close. If I bring it right up to the edge there, it's a bit too dark, a bit too contrast in there, so I'm going to pull that back just a bit. And you can see there it already looks a little bit more like the light I was experiencing on that day. The next thing you want to do is, this creature is quite far away from me. The photograph, if we look at the metadata, is 5,184 pixels wide. So I could easily crop that down and still have a photograph that's great to go on the internet. So I'm just going to run to my crop tool here. I do 2:1 crops. You can do whatever you like. I like to do 2:1 crops because it gives a bit of a wide feel, and you also it's easy to play around with the rule of thirds to get really good composition. So I'm just going to crop that out there, and I want to get it where the dolphin is right on that first third vertically and horizontally, and you can still see that we're out. Actually, we're in the Pacific Ocean. Okay. Now, the other thing I would want to do with this crop is it's cropped to what I want, but the horizon is just completely bent. So I'm going to try to straighten that up a little bit. So I'm still trying to keep that dolphin around those 1/3 marks, but I just want the ocean just to kind of line up properly. There we go. All right. The other important element is a photograph can never be sharp enough. You want to just make sure that your subject really just comes out as much as possible. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit the Z button with the mouse over the dolphin, and that will bring it up to full resolution. So this is 100% zoomed in. And what I want to do is I want to sharpen up the eyes, the head, the nose, and maybe the tail a little bit. So if I run down to my adjustments, go to quick brushes and go into sharpen. And what that'll do is that'll let you paint in areas that you want to sharpen. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to put on color overlay so I can see where I'm drawing. And now I'm just going to, well, I'll start out with the eyes. So you really can't see them that well there. I just want to see where my effect will happen, and then once that's in place, then I can adjust the parameters of how sharp I want it to be. You don't want to overdo it. You always want to keep it nice and subtle. There's always a balancing act. So there we go. So those are the areas that are affected. Strength is about 50%. It's a nice soft brush, and then down here I have my sharpening amount. So if I put it over to an extreme, you can see how there's a really dark black contrast line here, and up here it's really smooth. It won't look that real, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom out and just sort of eyeball it. Especially just underneath there. I just want to bring that down to something that's more realistic. There you go. And just make sure the fin really does stick out a bit. Maybe even go back in, hit the paintbrush, get some of that water detail. Just to sort of really emphasize the fact that the animal's jumping out. And there you have it. Thank you very much, guys.